Today we will discuss selection sort. In selection sort algorithm, we will be given an input sequence of number, basically an unsorted sequence of number, and output of the algorithm will be a sorted sequence of number. So here we have been given a sequence of number which is in unsorted form. Our goal here is to sort this sequence of number in ascending order. So in selection sort, the basic algorithm is nothing but it will, in every iteration, it will place the smallest element of the sequence at its best possible position. So for example, if we consider 1 is the smallest element of this sequence, so it will place 1 at its first position because 1 being the smallest element of the sequence. So let's see how selection sort algorithm works. So to make selection sort algorithm working properly, we need an element which will take hold of all the minimum element all in every iteration. So we will start with the initial element, which is 23. So 23 being the minimum element for the first case. So proceeding further, our main goal here will be, we will compare 23 with 78, 45, 8, 32, 56 and 1 till the time we find the next smallest element which will be lesser than 23. So we will compare 23 and 78. So we will see that 23 is less than 78. So 23 being still the smallest element. So our next goal will be, we will compare 23 and 45. So we see 23 is still the minimum element. Next we will see that 23 is the element which is compared with 8. So we see that now 8 is the minimum element. So in this case we will change the minimum pointer, which is this one, we will change this to point to 8. So we will update our minimum pointer to point to 8. This is how we will get the 8 as a minimum pointer. Now our next goal is compare rest of the elements of the sequence with the current minimum element. So we see that 8 is less than 32, next will be 8 is less than 56, next will be 8 is greater than 1. So here we see that 1 is the least element which is lesser than 8. So we will change the pointer again and it will point to 1. So now we see that here 1 is the last element of the sequence. So our main goal here is nothing but we will place this one element to the position where 23 is placed. Because 1 being the last element, there is no more element in the sequence to be compared. So this element being the smallest will go and will swap it with 23. So we see that it is getting swapped with 23 in this way. So at this first iteration we see that 1 has been moved to first position and rest of the elements are still in unsorted sequence. So after the first iteration, what we have observed that first has been placed at the first position at its best place. So 1 being the minimum element at its first position. So our next goal will be update the minimum pointer to point to 78. So our pointer has been moved to 78. Now 78 being the minimum element right now. So we will compare rest of the element of the sequence with 78. So for the first comparison we found that 78 is greater than 45, so immediately we will change our pointer to 45 and 45 will be the next minimum element. We will compare rest of the elements, say 8, 32, 56, 23 with 45. So 45 is being compared with 8 and again we found that 8 is being the smallest element, so we will update the pointer again. So our pointer will now point to 8. Now 8 is the minimum element. Now the rest of the 3 elements, that is 32, 56 and 23 will be compared with 8. So we'll see, we are seeing here that it is being compared and we found that 8 being the smallest element. So we will swap 8 with 78. So this way, if you see here, 8 has been placed at its best place, at best position. So 8 is again discarded from the list. So we are remaining with 45, 78, 32, 56 and 23. Now the next pointer or minimum element will be the 45. So again 45 will be compared with 78 and the rest of the element. So we will see how this comparison is going on. Here nothing but we are comparing each and minimum element with the rest of the elements, and we found that every time it is getting compared and we are sorting the minimum element and placing it at its best place so that it is getting sorted in every iteration. So you can find that after the fourth iteration we have placed 32 at its best place and we are left with only 72, 56 and 45. So again we will reiterate, recursively we will call the selection sort method, and you can see here that 45 being the smallest, it is replaced with 72 and 72 has been placed here. So after fifth iteration you see that 45 is placed at best possible position. So we are left with 56 and 72. So 56 being the smallest. So after sixth iteration 56 at its best position. Now after the final iteration or at the final iteration, the element left will be the largest element of the series. So it takes only big O of one time. So finally we have sorted the sequence. In this way we have sorted the unsorted sequence of a series and we have completed selection sort algorithm. Thank you.